Hello, beloved community. I am happy to see you here this morning. We have so much going on, don't we? It's a full kind of experience this week. And so, I invite you just to maybe shake your arms a bit. You can wiggle your toes a bit. Take a breath. If your feet reach the ground, plant your feet. And if they don't, or even if they do, just settle back in your chair. Just feel planted, rooted, connected. And take as deep a breath as you can, as the mask allows. Let it out. And I invite you to take your hands and face them to the ground. And just feel that down there is solid, sure, foundational, unchanging, supportive, God's good and holy earth. Feel the energy flowing from you to the earth and from the earth back to you. And I invite you to take your hands and hold them like this, palms towards you. This is a gesture that in this part of the world is often accompanied by the word Haichka. Haichka, which means thank you. For we are on a land that has been lived on and worked on and played on and fought over and prayed for and danced on from time immemorial by people. The Cowichan and the Malahat peoples meet here. And we are thankful that we get to be here too. Then we've got a few variations of the next one. You can either hold your hands out in a little blessing, you can make a little frame, or you can do a little heart. I taught a little one how to make a heart this week, which was quite fun. And just look around at this beloved community. God's beloved. Thank you for showing up. And then my very favorite, give yourself a big hug. God's beloved creature. Thank you for being here. Amen. Before we start our worship service, many of you know that we lost another beloved member of our community this week. Hap Shapley died on Tuesday. And another person who's been just the heart and soul of our community. And Reg wanted to come up and say a few words, so I'm going to invite you to come and do that now.
Just a few words for Hap. 12 years ago, I met Hap for the first time. And he questioned me about my abilities to do a lot of things. And so I was with him for 4 years, and there were 3 others that were with us. And at the end of his 4 years, he asked me if I would take it over. And I said, you think I'm capable? He smiled and said, you really are. So as the time went by, we did 2 things. One was have our birthdays together. When I say birthdays together, it was, we were 6 weeks apart, 6 months apart in our birthdays. And it turned out that we would celebrate his birthday and celebrate mine. But he was 6 months younger than me. And so every 6 months he would come up and congratulate me for catching up to me. So this individual was not only a good father, but he also made a statement to me that if you take this job over, you need a good credit card. And I agree. But thank you very much.
For those of you who might not know what the job was, it's Chair of Property and Environment. And Reg, I think you still have that job, don't you?
There will be a memorial service, we think, on February 18th. They're just confirming with family members, so stay tuned for more information. So, with hearts full of gratitude for having known remarkable people that we've loved and lost, we prepare our hearts and minds to worship God. There was once someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things that people began to ask. And one day when the people asked, Jesus said, I'm the light of the world. And so we light this candle to remind ourselves that we gather in the name of Jesus, who is the light of the world, and calls us to be lights too. This season we've been doing responsive psalms as our call to worship and opening prayer. So I invite you to take out the hardback hymn book and turn to Psalm 15, which is at number 736 in the little numbers. And just a reminder, Ricky will play the music through once, we'll sing it through once, and then I'll say the light-colored words, and you say the dark-colored words, and every time we get to that little R, we sing. And if I can stand here and sing in front of a microphone, I expect you to sing too, please. All right. God,
who may be a guest in your house? Or who may dwell on your holy mountain? One who leads a blameless life, who does what is right, who speaks truthfully from the heart. One whose tongue is free from malice, who never wrongs a friend, who utters no reproach against a neighbor. One who cannot respect the unworthy, but honors those who fear God. Who stands by a promise given, though it be to personal disadvantage. One who will not take interest on a loan, nor accept a bribe to testify against the innocent.
Whoever does this shall never be overthrown.
And we're going to continue singing. We're going to sing number 1 in the paperback More Voices. Let us build a house. And please stand as you are able.
Forgive.
you may know that I like to think of the bulletin as a suggestion rather than a guide, or a guide, I guess, rather than carved in stone. So we're going to play a little fast and loose with the middle bit. Marlene is our reader today, and it only says Micah, but I've asked, can you please do Micah and Matthew? So she's going to do 2 readings, and then we're going to flip the hymns. We're going to do 701 after the readings and Matthew 5 after the sermon. Okay? Yes? Sounds good? Follow along? Yeah. You'll do whatever I announce, right? Awesome. Thank you.
Well, you'll have to realize I forgot my reading glasses, but we'll try it, okay?
Or mine?
That's all right. The first reading is from the prophet Micah. Listen to what the Lord says. Stand up, plead my case before the mountains. Let the hills hear what you have to say. Hear, you mountains, the Lord's accusation. Listen, you everlasting foundations. Now from the book of Matthew, and it's the Beatitudes, it's just the first few. Now when we saw the crowds, he went up on the mountaintop and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those that hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be fulfilled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil things against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven, for the same way they persecuted the prophets who went before you. Thus saith the Lord. Thank you.
So some of you might know Micah has another little bit to that reading that might be a little bit more familiar. What does the Lord require of you?
But to seek justice
And walk kindly
and walk humbly with my
with the
Lord.
Lord.
To seek justice, to love kindness, and walk humbly with your God. And so we're going to sing that. It's number 701. We're going to sing that bit. And, I don't know, are you familiar with this hymn? Do we want to try it in parts?
Yes.
Yes. So we can do it one of 2 ways. We can do a round, or you can choose your favorite part. Like we'll sing it all the way through a couple of times. And then if you like to soar to the heavens, you can sing the higher part, which is, to seek justice. Yeah. And walk humbly with your God. If you like to just start off with a question, what does the Lord require of you? What does the Lord require of you? And if you are steady and sure and like to keep, or you're an alto who only ever gets to sing a D and an F, we'll sing the middle part. Justice, kindness, walk humbly with your God. Got a B in there, altos. We got a third note. Yeah? All right, so let's do it. Let's see what happens. We'll sing it all the way through. Let's stand up. We'll sing it all the way through twice. Like go, what does the Lord require of you? Justice, kindness, to seek justice and love kindness. So in that order, like 3 verses. And then let's do it twice, singing your favorite part. Yeah? Yeah? Your game? Beauty. All right. Justice. going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Eve would be impressed if she were here.
You would be impressed. I have to say, I was reading that when I got the news that Hap died, and I thought, that's him. Hey, that's him. That's him. But I'm not preaching on that as beautifully as he sung it, because the other reading is the Beatitudes. What on earth do we do with the Beatitudes? I confess that it almost became a hymn sing Sunday. I'm like, I got nothing. So what I usually do is go back to the history and the context. So first, a little context. Matthew, we're in the lectionary year of Matthew, and Matthew is the gospel that seems to have the most ties, intentional ties back to the Hebrew scriptures. Matthew is constantly saying things like, this happened so that the reading from this prophet could be fulfilled. Matthew kind of portrays Jesus like a second Moses. The Salt Project people write that, like Moses, Jesus will shepherd God's people from enslavement to freedom. For example, as we saw a few weeks ago, Jesus' birth story in Matthew included a tyrant, Herod, who, in an attempt to kill Jesus, orders all the infant boys in the region to be executed. A pattern vividly reminiscent of Moses' birth story, in which another tyrant, Pharaoh, does the same. Likewise, in Matthew, Jesus delivers 5 major discourses. Discourses are like sermon teachings. 5 major discourses, a likely allusion to the 5 books of the Torah in those days attributed to Moses. Moreover, just as Moses delivered divine teachings to the Israelites at Mount Sinai, so Jesus delivers his inaugural sermon on the Mount. So the Sermon on the Mount, it's the first public teachings that Jesus does. He's been baptized, he's tempted in the wilderness, he's called his first disciples, and he's done a little bit of healing and teaching, non-specific, in the synagogues. And now he's taking a little time apart with his newly called disciples, and he begins a series of teachings. And I was reading it, I was kind of thinking, wow, it feels like a little new disciple orientation session. But the first thing that Jesus wants them to know is this. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the meek. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for justice. Blessed are the merciful. Blessed are the pure in heart. Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are the persecuted. And blessed are you when people revile you on my account. It's hard enough to say blessed. I would say blessed, but it's blessed. So what do you think of when you think of people being blessed? If someone says, I'm blessed, what do you think of? Or that person's blessed?
Fortunate.
Fortunate? Yeah. What else?
Lucky.
Lucky? Yeah.
Inwardly happy.
Inwardly happy.
Yeah. Peaceful.
Peaceful?
Special.
Special? Yeah. Yeah, I thought about successful, rich, lucky, happy, and content. And I found an interesting article on the Indiana Wesleyan University's Theology and Ministry website that talked about a phenomenon on social media, so Facebook and Instagram particularly, where people post pictures or stories. And you can do this little trick where you put the number sign in front of a word or a few words together. It's also called a hashtag. And you put that in front of the words, the word of the words, and it makes that into a link. And then you click on the link, and you can find other people who have done the same thing. Then you can see what their posts and their pictures are. And they describe it as a way for people to categorize, join, or find conversations on a particular topic. And the writer on this Theology and Ministry page, his name's Jake Thurston, he points out that lots of people use hashtag blessed a lot. So lots of pictures and posts. He writes that hashtag blessed is an internet sensation for anyone to proclaim the great things they have going on for them for the entire world to see. And despite most people's good intentions, this simple hashtag actually reveals a construed reality of the human heart. This is because more often than not, #blessed means #bragging. I'm so blessed to be with friends who love me. I'm so blessed to have a home. I'm so blessed it's fishing season, that my coffee is hot, that my bed is warm. I'm so blessed by how good I've got it, and I want everyone else to know about it. So he goes on to write about what it might look like if people took the teachings from in Matthew 5 and posted the struggles and the hard times, posted about when and where and how life is falling apart, and then added #blessed. Jesus doesn't say you're blessed when everything is good and life is simple and you've got abundance and money and love and safety. He doesn't say that you're blessed when the things that you portray on social media get the most likes. Jesus said, blessed are the poor in spirit. So I can get behind this a little. There's the old way, and I think maybe even common way of understanding blessings is that if things are going right, if you're rich, if you're successful, if you're popular, if life is good, then obviously you're righteous. Yeah, you're doing the right things. You're doing everything right, and God is blessing you. It's a common way of understanding blessings. But the flip side of that is if you're poor or sick or struggling or depressed or life is just collapsing all around you, then you must have done something to deserve it. The rich are rich because they've done things right. They are #blessed. The poor, well, you're just getting what you deserve. And that is not consistent with the teaching and ministry and way of Jesus. And Jesus sets that out right from the beginning with the Sermon on the Mount. Look at who was flocking to Jesus at this time. Who were the people listening in? The sick, the marginalized, the poor, the hurting, the grieving. And they had been told all of their lives that they must have done something to deserve it. They should be more like the rich, the healthy, the content, because obviously those people are blessed. Now, Jesus is also not saying that they are blessed in their suffering. So just take the blessing and feel better about yourself. Life might be hard, but you're blessed. And we shouldn't be rushing out and finding ways to be poor or grief-filled or meek or feel guilty about having enough to eat and drink or living in safety and comfort. So what do we do with this litany of blessings? What do we do with these Beatitudes? Reverend David Luz is a professor at Lutheran Theological Seminary. He writes, the people who are coming, the people that Jesus names as blessed, he writes, why these people? I mean, think about it. The people Jesus names as blessed most certainly are not the people society considers blessed, which is partly why I think Jesus chooses them. Because in this term, he is not, contrary to all the pseudo-Christian, pseudo-therapeutic preaching of these verses over the years, offering a recipe for success, or the keys to happiness, or a roadmap to having your best life now. Rather, he's demonstrating once again that God regularly and relentlessly shows up just where we least expect it. God shows up in order to give to us freely what we can neither earn nor achieve. Blessedness. End quote. It's like grace. Can't earn it. So what do we do with this? What do we do with the Beatitudes? We can't dismiss them by falling back into the thinking that if we're blessed only when things are right. And we can't glorify or dismiss poverty or grief or hunger or violence by saying, well, you're blessed, dear. You'll get your reward in heaven. So just now, put up with those struggles in life. So I confess I really struggled this week. Like I said, it was almost a hymn sing week. I didn't want to say anything that sounded trite or simplistic. And so I began to wonder if I needed to hear the Beatitudes with fresh ears. Beth actually suggested find different interpretations of it. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. So I did. I found a couple of interpretations that gave me a whole new perspective. And I'm going to read them for you now. And I want you to listen. I want you to see if something catches you differently. I've got two of them. I'll read the first. Maybe we can pause and, if something kind of catches you. And then we'll end with the second. Okay? So the first one where I go to when I'm having trouble with the scripture reading, I go to the Message. Love the Message. So Eugene Peterson's interpretation. When Jesus saw his ministry drawing huge crowds, he climbed a hillside. Those who were apprenticed to him, the committed, they climbed with him. Arriving at a quiet place, he sat down and taught his climbing companions. And this is what he said. You're blessed when you're at the end of your rope. With less of you, there is more of God and God's rule. You're blessed when you feel you've lost what is most dear to you. Only then can you be embraced by the one who's most dear to you. You're blessed when you're content with just who you are, no more, no less. That's the moment you find yourselves proud owners of everything that can't be bought. You're blessed when you've worked up a good appetite for God. God is food and drink. It's the best meal you'll ever eat. You're blessed when you care. At the moment of being careful, you find yourselves cared for. You're blessed when you get your inside world, your mind and your heart put right. Then you can see God in the outside world. You're blessed when you show people how to cooperate instead of compete or fight. That's when you discover who you really are and your place in God's family. You're blessed when your commitment to God provokes persecution. The persecution drives you deeper into God's kingdom. Not only that, count yourselves blessed every time people put you down or throw you out or speak lies about you to discredit me. What it means is that the truth is too close for comfort, and they're uncomfortable. You can be glad when that happens. Give a cheer even, for though they don't like it, I do, and all heaven applauds. And know that you are in good company. My prophets and witnesses have always gotten into this kind of trouble. So,
A lot better.
It's a lot better. Why? Say more about that. Why is it
It's just a
better?
lot easier, like, you really hear the why. Like, it's okay to be like this because it opens you up to experience more of God, right? Like, it's really more clear in that reading than in the traditional reading.
Okay.
Feels less like a list, right? Like,
Yeah.
the Beatitudes feel like a list. Like, blessed is this, blessed is that, blessed is that. Like, you don't really feel like you're getting drawn into it. It just feels like a list to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this doesn't. It's more
It
stuff to
feels
it.
a little more interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so much more relatable.
Mm.
I think we can find ourselves in that we can connect to our own experience
Yeah.
and what we see around us
Yeah.
and feel within us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other thoughts? I found lots more entry points. I think it's what you're saying. Like it's like, who's been at the end of their rope? Yeah, who feels like that? Yeah. And I say it's the same one as poor in spirit. He feels poor in spirit. End of my rope. Yeah. Any other thoughts? I'm going to end with another interpretation, and this comes from Third Space, which is a British site. The poor and those in solidarity with them, God is on your side. Those who mourn and feel grief about the state of the world, God is on your side. The non-violent, gentle, and humble, God is on your side. Those who hunger and thirst for the common good, God is on your side. The merciful and compassionate, God is on your side. Those characterized by sincerity, kindness, and generosity, God is on your side. Those who work for peace and reconciliation, God is on your side. Those who keep seeking justice,
God is on your side. Those who stand for justice and truth as the prophets did, who refuse to be quiet even when slandered, misrepresented, threatened, imprisoned, or harmed. God is on your side. #blessed. Thanks be to God. We're going to sing. After singing, oh, I don't get anything out of the traditional reading. We're going to sing it. It is number 896 in Voices United. Please stand as you're able. Say amen. Amen. I'm going to move things around again a little bit. We're going to bless the offering, but I'm going to change it up a bit, because one of the other things we're doing today is we are saying goodbye to beloved members of the congregation who have not died, but are moving away. I have threatened to steal the moving truck or steal the keys, but Tom and Judy Baxter, who have offered time and service and commitment and love, and all the things that make church. And so we sadly say goodbye. We're gonna have a little party afterward, but we have a couple little gifts that we would like to give you. And I did not warn the people giving the gifts it would be now, so they're going for it now. So I wonder, Peter, do you want to come up and say a few words? You're gonna come, Peter? You're gonna come up?
Tom and Judy Baxter. Let me take this off
Yes,
first.
you can come back to one too.
Tom and Judy Baxter, welcome. Would you like to come up here now? Tom and Judy Baxter have been a force within the Sylvan community for a number of years now. They both work very hard to keep us on the straight and narrow, and we have been blessed indeed. And I just would like to say, therefore, to Tom, Judy, we'll be missing you when you leave here. We wish you really well in everything that happens over the next future for you. So we'd like to present this, I'd like to present this on behalf of the congregation. Something for you to remember there of the church. I don't know if you'd like to open it now, you're very welcome to.
Like the kids, just tear it, just tear it.
Don't say that.
We're going to miss Tom's humour.
You can't leave now.
Can't leave, and I'm on
Wonderful. Oh my goodness, lovely.
Look at that. You can put this in the front hall of our new place.
Perfect.
And who took that picture?
Original?
I did.
Yeah.
That was the year 2005, the year after the church was built here. We had a nice snowy winter, and I took that picture during that. What you can see, not many people have walked up there since the snow came then. Anyway, there we are. That's from 2004-05.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Perfect.
Actually, I've got one more thing and then you can say something. So, we have one other thing. So in 2018, the chair of council came up with a brilliant idea to have a plaque each year at the annual meeting in recognition of exceptional service to Sylvan United Church.
Who was the chair of council?
Who was the chair of council at the time? Does anyone remember?
Gee, I don't know.
Tom. And so we've had Jane and Hap Shapley, Marion and Bill Davis, Miriam and Derek Coughlin, Reg Hall, and so for 2022, unanimously, Tom and Judy Baxter. You don't get to take this with you. But now you can take it.
Here I am again. This is pretty hard, I'll tell you. Sam was 18 months old. We moved into our place, and Sam was born 2 weeks later. When Sam was 18 months old, Judy said, well, look, it's about time to get the kids baptized and set down roots in this community. We seem to be settling in here. So, now Judy was raised Presbyterian and I was raised Anglican. So you might wonder how we ever got together. But anyway, so we thought, well,
we have kind of different experience, similar but different, so, you know, let's shop around. So we visited the churches in the area, and a lot of lovely churches, a lot of wonderful people when we met. And I don't know how Judy found out about it, but it's like, well, there's this church at the community center, and I'm kind of thinking, oh great, here we go, you know. Imagine what that's going to be like. But it was, we went, the music was great, the sermon was good. Sermon was great.
But it wasn't Catholic, right?
It wasn't
So-
Catholic. But it was the people. The people were just wonderful. I remember one woman in particular, Audrey Beale, whom many of you may not even know, just came up to us and was just so generous and kind and thoughtful, and just made us feel so wonderful and welcome. So that kind of sealed the deal. So we became members of Sylvan. And we spent the first 10 years probably, you know, in the kindergarten room at the community center, and then at the church hall. So we probably spent more time in the church hall than we did in the sanctuary for the first bit. And then we had the lacrosse years where we spent a lot of Sunday mornings in the rain in the fields around Vancouver Island. But, you know, as the kids sort of matured and got on, and we you know, in more recent years, we became more engaged, more involved with the congregation, and it's been to our benefit. You know, Catherine said, what's blessed, and you know, I've met so many blessed people here, and for me, it's the people at Sylvan who give so freely of themselves, their time, their commitment, and I've met so many of them, particularly, you know, since I've joined council. And it's this generous giving spirit that has impressed me so much, and you know, it's all the little things, you know, it's the coffee time, it's the looking after the grounds, it's the people that's giving of themselves to the benefit of others. It kind of defies logic, it defies, you know, the self-interested motivation that so much, you know, economics in the current world is based on. So thank you to you for giving me so much, and you know, any parting words of wisdom to anybody here, it's if you want to get, you know, if you want to get more from the church, get involved and work with these wonderful people, and to those of you on council, you know, it's been an honor. You've made the job so easy because you're also competent and wonderful at what you do. And in that regard, a particular shout out to Karen Udi, the recording secretary. You want to thank this job. There's one. And the best minutes I've ever read in my life, and I've read quite a few minutes of meetings, and Karen is a superstar, and she's kept me on track, sending me emails like, you know, you realize it's council this week, and you know, when are you getting out the agenda, and these reminders, and keeping me on track. So thank you so much, Karen, for all that you've done. Probably the hardest thing about being involved with Sylvan for so long is having had to say goodbye to so many wonderful people, you know, both in people that have moved like we have moved and left, and passed on. In discussions with Murray recently, he reminded me that Audrey Beale, the generous woman I was speaking of earlier, she was the first funeral in this new sanctuary when it was first built. So looking back, there's a lot of sadness because we had to say goodbye to a lot of wonderful people. But the flip side of that, of course, is that I've been blessed, and we've been blessed by having known so many wonderful people. So thank you so much from both Judy and I and our kids, wonderful kids that we've seen come and go out into the world from this church that benefited so much. So keep doing what you're doing. You're a wonderful congregation. Thank you so much.
What he said. Thank you, Peter.
Left their mask here. I feel like I've been crying all week. Prayers of the people. Could we have some music? And I just invite you to offer the prayers of your hearts and the sighs that are too deep for words. Before I accepted the call to come out here, I came for my second interview where you were deciding if you were going to call me or not. And the people who welcomed me were the Shockleys, with whom I stayed for those couple of days, and the Baxters, who had me over for a meal. And I felt like I had to have the seal of approval of Sam and Grace before anything was going forward. So you have continued that warm welcome. All right, friends, life and work of the congregation. Who has announcements to make? Please stay after church. There is cake and celebration. So, Robbie and Marie, come on up.
After you talk with the Baxters and hug and say goodbye, and that's hard, and have cake, there are the surplus items for you to look at and see if there's anything that you would really like to have. There was a couple of items that are going to the Shawnican Lake Museum, and those are set aside, and there's a little sign saying they're to go to the museum. So whatever you're interested in taking, please do, and we just ask you make your donation to the church. You can give it to me personally and I'll send it on to the counters, or you can put it into offering next week or email Kim. There's lots of various options. The pictures, if anyone is interested in taking a picture of the Kinsale Trestle, there's a story that I found written up in the back of one of the pictures. Let me know if you're taking a picture, because I'm going to photocopy that story, and whoever gets one of those pictures gets the story. Mm-hmm. Yes, Joanna? Just see me after.
Yeah, I was involved with trying to save them from the beginning. A group of us did our best to save them. And so, and then it kind of got like a rolling boulder of people got involved and different things. And I got some interesting pictures for you.
I think that, thank you.
What does the Lord require of you? What does the Lord require of you? What a perfect Sunday to introduce the theme of our next Celebrating Around, duty. So this issue is to come out on the first Sunday in March, and the due date for articles to be submitted to me is Friday, February the 17th. Yeah, so what does the Lord require of you?
An article.
Or a poem or a picture.
Wow, Catherine, you better stick around, because I don't know how we're going to be staying with the Shapleys and dinner with the Baxters. So stick around a long time. Or we're going to be like those Newfoundland movies of trying to, schmooze a doctor to come or something. I don't know if you remember, 4 years ago or so, it would have been before the pandemic, Hap got up and he and Jane had calculated how much the tradition of giving the amount of money of the years old you were, how much it cost them over the years. Do you remember that? And he added up, it was something like $2,000 or something. And it was his birthday, and we all sang Happy Birthday, Hap, and then with remarkable enthusiasm, with dollar signs in our eyes, we all roared out, and many more. And Joanna alerted me that it was Hap's birthday this week, so I brought a check and brought a check.
These are for Hap.
So they're for Hap. We brought $91 checks for Hap.
Baptism fund.
Checks for Hap. Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm just going to slip in here. I know I sound like a broken record, but coffee time after church is very special, and some ladies gathered together this week, and I know that they are looking forward to seeing some hostesses come forward, but we do need to fill the page up. It is outside there, so please sign up. And if you're unable to host coffee, we're always welcoming stuff for the freezer so that those people who take on coffee more than what they some others do, they can just go to the freezer for the goodies rather than bringing it every time. So please sign up if you wish coffee to continue. Thank you.
I remember a few years ago, I'm just thinking of the birthdays. My birthday is coming up and I will put money in, but I had my money ready to go, and Hap and Joanna Weston, Joanna Weston, they looked at each other and they stood up and linked arms and processed up to the front and did something just that was Joanna and Hap, because it was their birthdays, and so I will always remember that. Just birthdays. So thank you for that's amazing gift. I will be away for a couple weeks. I'm taking a couple of weeks off. Carrie and Jeff, you're up for next week, right? We're leading worship, and George and Janet. Yeah.
Reading.
You're reading? Yeah, George and Janet?
Yeah.
are going to be doing the week after that. And so thank you all for that amazing gift. I can't think of anything else that needs to be announced. We've covered it all. All right, may God's blessing be on all of the life and work of this congregation. Amen. We're going to sing, I'll put my glasses on to get the right number, 512 in Voices United, Lord, you give the Great Commission. Please stand as you're able.
Thank you.
community, you are blessed when you care. At the moment of being careful, you find yourselves cared for. Hold that in your heart as you go out into your world. And as we go, may God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God look on you with kindness.